Say la. I feel good. I feel rejuvenated. Got some good rest. I went to the movies with my kids yesterday, my children. And it's cool that they're all, getting that age where we can kind of sit down and analyze things. They know when they go to the movies, they know who's making the movie. I let them know all this stuff. Hey, trust your kids. Trust your children. They're smarter than you think. My daughter's 6, and she's like, all right, so I know who's behind this thing. I know the bad man made the movie. I know what they're trying to do. And she's analyzing this thing with me, and we're watching, what's that, Angry Birds, that crap. And literally, it's like they're just mocking our story. Some people come on this, not just this channel, but any channel that's, really dropping something that's sort of tears a hole. It rips to shreds some things, you know what I'm saying? Some things, well, not some things, but all things that are illusions. The sword of truth is going to slice open your belly. You got to be ready for it. That's why I said, who's ready for this journey? Because if you're ready to be comfortable, you're not ready for this journey. This journey is not comfortable. You're going to have to get shake, rattled, and rolled a little bit to get back to where you at. And if you're standing on truth, then what are you afraid of? So we're at the movies watching Angry Bird. And it's literally like these birds. And they got these feathers in their head looking like little Indians, right? And then who shows up? These little goblin green snorkely things, right? These pigs. The swine shows up. And it's only the Angry Bird that's like, whoa, these guys are showing up in their ships. They had never seen these. They didn't know what they were. They said, who are you little slimy, infested pigs? And they came over there with trickery. And we brought them in and they said, oh, thank you for accepting us. And the Angry Bird was like, get off my land. And the chief was like, hey, it's all good. We're showing hospitality to these little green pigs. There's only a few. But then the Angry Bird, Red, they call him Red, right? Red man, Red. Red goes and finds the ship. He sneaks on their ship and he sees the rest of them. It's a gang of these little things. And he goes back. He's like, yo, there's a gang of them in here. It's not just a few. And the rest come on the island. And then the dude's like, it's all good. We can leave. And it's like, nah, come stay. And they stayed, they partied. And all while they were being distracted with parties, these pigs, these green pigs, was trying to get the eggs of the birds so they can eat them. The cannibals researched these pilgrims when they got here, eating each other and eating us. That's how hungry they were. They couldn't grow their own food. That's real spill. So they finally got the eggs, and then the Angry Birds went to go get them back and all this kind of stuff. And then they had to get help by this. They had to go find. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about what we're about to watch. And, we're about to get in this, man. I mean, I had to save up my strength because the drought was just so phenomenal. And I just had to shut it down and just, get back to the, build myself back up and get ready for this again. You know what I'm saying? So, they have to go find the body. Or not the body, you know what I'm saying? Or they have to go find this myth, this legendary character, this eagle guy, right? And they have to climb this mountain and find this eagle guy. Who's just a myth. People like, he don't even exist. And they find him. And then he comes, you know what I'm saying, and helps them out. And that's how it go. Alright, so, but yeah, man, these pigs show up. Who? Jesus. What's Sus? Pig. Jesus. You already know. So, look, we about to get into some things. This might be a 4-part series. So I'm going to tell you right now. Don't worry about how we get there. We're going to get there. If you need to take notes, take notes. If you want to fall back and just vibrate to this, vibrate to it. There's no one way to get this drop. But rock with me now. I had to save up for this. Love to you. Love all y'all, man. Love everybody, man, that's in this frequency on this journey. So, yeah, I just want to check this chick out. She's about to go on some little hike. And, for some reason, I just want to vibrate to it. It's only 2 minutes. And then we'll get into some Egypt drop, some Atlantis drop. I mean, it's about to go crazy. Let go.
They'll tell you the best way to fill it. And we've only got 36 hours. Let's go. Take a driving tour. The East Road takes you through 2 tunnels, more vistas than you'll have time for, and plenty of hikes to choose from. First hike, and it's super giddy. Anytime I read, trail is not for anyone fearful of heights. That's the sign. It's kind of cool that the edge is like right there. No protection. Now that's a view. Totally worth the hike. Sun's going down. This is a short one, so let's squeeze it in. We're chasing the lights. Hurry up! That was easy.
No sweat.
They're so cute. Day 2, and we got 2 big hikes planned today. Best part is we get to leave the car and take the free shuttle. This is the museum, or to the patriarchs. 1, 2, 3. Zion Lodge.
Wait a minute. Shout out to my man Hallway CH. Hallway dropping that drop. Winifred Holcomb dropping that drop. Of course, man, that King Lex Will. Let us find the truth. Hi, I'm Art. You already know. All the kings that we're building with on a regular. Clarence Washington III dropping that drop. It's a gang of people that, if I'm just going, y'all. So forgive me. You know what I'm saying? For any names, I'm not. This ain't no shout out ego class. We're just dropping that drop. So what I'm saying is this. Shout out to Rah Rah. You already know Silas. You know what I'm saying? Political Mike. You know what I mean? That's the crew. D Will. Chef Kent. No, all right. Look. Back it up. We dropping that drop, man. I'm back. If I look rested, I am, man. I ain't shaved. I just been at my computer doing business, getting that frequency of learning popping in the classrooms, man. Shout out to, I'm not going to say all the names, but, there's a lot of great movement. You know what I'm saying? We're getting into kids' gyms, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're tuning to music. We're putting the whole gymnasiums and classrooms in 432 for the kids. It's working. So I'll get at y'all with how you guys can get more involved and get this into your local classrooms and, you know what I'm saying, programs, daycare centers, YMCAs, Boys and Girls Clubs, all this stuff. All these kids need to be in 432 and they love it, so that's the cool thing is that we actually are helping and we're raising these test scores up, you know what I'm saying. The president of Frequency of Learning, my mother, you know what I'm saying, she's been in education for over 40 years. She's been a principal at an elementary school in Watts, California, you know what I'm saying. Shout out to everybody in Watts, Compton. You already know what time it is. I've been a teacher for 5 years with LAUSD, you know what I'm saying. So I've worked with these beautiful children as well. So she's used this. She's done this. She's turned these classes around. She's turned these schools around. This is documentation. Everybody know who she is, you know what I'm saying. So we're doing this together. This is teamwork. This is a family business. And we all are Drop Nation together. So love to everybody doing it. She just dropped this thing about the patriarchs. Hallway dropped something about, you know what I'm saying, how, the body of Moshe is connected in the burial chambers with the patriarchs. I don't know what this connects with, but it's interesting that there's 3 mountains. Let's see what she said. 3 mountains, and these are the court of the patriarchs. All right, so the court of the patriarchs. Court of the patriarchs. Is that connected to the burial tomb of the body of Moshe? I don't know. Well, let's see. What you can't do is front on this because ain't nobody trying to find this stuff. This is just the developing drop. And if you're on surfing this wave, you are surfing and developing with us. I'm going to back it up a little bit.
Here's the museum. Court of the Patriarchs.
Court of the Patriarchs. 1, 2, 3. Okay. You can also find other pictures online. Just look it up. But, there you go right there. Okay. Court of the Patriarchs. Now, how this is related to Mount Nebo, I have not looked it up. I don't know where Mount Nebo is in relation to this. So, this could just be something they are calling Court of the Patriarchs. But it's very interesting. Let's keep going.
3. Zion Lodge.
Yeah.
Leaping Rock.
There you go.
Angel's Landing. Must name that one after me. Observation Point. Hope I don't end up like that guy. Don't mind me.
Woo.
Okay. Beginning to wonder if this trolley even has an end. We finally made it, and I think it was worth it. The view's pretty spectacular.
I mean, it's something about that, you know. I'm not a heights guy. I'm not a guy that just says, ooh, I need to get to the top of anything. But maybe that's what it is, you know. Maybe when you aren't necessarily trying to get to the top of anything, you just, that's what gets you to the top, you know. And if you're trying to always be at the top of something, stepping on somebody's shoulders, we as a community need to come together, not so that somebody can be the best this and the best this and the Grammy Award this and the top Billboard spot that. You don't need to be better than your brother at anything. I mean, obviously we're all competitive, but I'm not, in terms of just, I got to be better than you. That mentality comes from the system that you're brought up in. When you're in your community, all your talent is going back to the pot. You ain't trying to be the best, chef, because there's a bunch of chefs. So you just want to contribute your recipes to the community, and you do it for free. Why? Because those people that's eating, are doing something for you. Somebody's building your house. You don't got to do that. Somebody's, taking care of your teeth. You got a dentist that's doing it for free. Why? Because somebody's feeding them for free. Because the children are being looked after for free. Why are they looking after their children for free? Because everything's free. When everything's free, you're free. Because everything's free. No one has to charge you for anything because no one's being charged for anything. So all your talent is going into the pot. It's going into the community. And that's unity. Lego! This is about it. Oh, no, a little bit more. That's crazy right there. That's crazy.
But certainly not least. The Narrows. Water is a tad bit chilly, so keep your butt warm. I'd suggest a wetsuit or even a dry. The trip has been everything I expected, and a little more. Sloshing through the Narrows, I realized that 36 hours isn't enough to explore all the exhausting hikes, beautiful views, and watery carved hallways. Floating away, I know this won't be my last trip here.
Oh, you ain't coming too much, lady. Alright, here we go. It ain't gonna be my last trip here. Look, lady. It ain't your land. You're gonna have to ask to come back. Everybody's making money, they're having fun, right? I mean, it's not like no one wants you to mess up their good time. Everyone's having fun, and as long as you sleep, they can, I'll come back whenever I want to. Like, what neighborhood can you just walk into whenever you want to? Alright? I got lost one time. I was in Boston. I ended up in Little Italy. I look up, man, there's some old Italian goons just sitting in the corner stores, with their t-shirts and their, wife beaters, looking at me like I was crazy. I said, oh, okay, so that way? No, man, I mean, seriously, you can't just mob up in anybody's community, man. But I'll come back. I can't wait to come back here again and visit. People, it's okay to have a possession. And no one wants you to have a possession because that means you're going to be taken away from their good time, walking and trampling over your ass. But it's yours. So let it be. Let it be. Alright, so that's that. We'll come back to that another time. Follow me now. We're going somewhere. We are going somewhere. Again, I told you about the Patriots. You can Google that. And that's interesting, right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Either way, we know that's Isaac. Alright. Alright, right, let's see. Where should we go? Normally I have notes because I got so much to drop, but this time I was like, man, I'm just gonna let it flow. So again, this might be like a 4 or 5 parter. I mean, really. After this, we might all just do our dismount and say, all right. So I don't even know what this is. I got pop-ups everywhere. Sorry, Jam up Jones. Jam up Jizzles. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Alright, so someone dropped this on me. Love to you, brother or sister. Again, I love all y'all. Y'all Drop Nation. So I'm just gonna say shout out to Drop Nation. Because, you know, so much drops coming in right now. Proof the Grand Canyon monuments are ancient pyramids, right? So we get this Grand Canyon story a certain type of way. And now that we understand that they've only excavated 3 out of 2,000 habitation sites, 3 of 2,000, that over 1,200,000 acres or have never been looked at in close range around the Grand Canyon. This is your land. Again, just because Egypt is here don't mean they belonged here. If they belonged here, they would still be here. There is a divine order. You can't be on both sides of the track and say, oh, this is mine, and I'll take all this. That's not divine order. That's not playing fair, right? That's not sharing. Matter of fact, this ain't even your playground. And you're going to understand what I mean. You're going to understand what I mean. Proof the Grand Canyon monuments are ancient pyramids. This is from Lee, by Lee Bracker. This is some good drop. Vibrate on it. There you go.
The claim he discovered was these caverns inside the Grand Canyon. Inside these caverns there were Egyptian artifacts, there were Hindu, Buddhist artifacts from India. They were saying that, you know, there were mummies in there. They were saying this was going to totally change the history of America, the Southwest.
I was very young when
This
I
is your
visited
land.
the Canyon for my very first time.
Deal with it.
On a family vacation. And it was an extraordinary experience for me. I loved it. There I was looking at what they call the monuments of the Grand Canyon, and at the time, nobody really paid attention to the names of the features of the Grand Canyon. I'm 51 years old now, and it wasn't until I started investigating what I felt was needed to be investigated in the Grand Canyon concerning the Egyptian artifact find down in the underground dwellings, citadels, and the Asian artifacts. They had hieroglyphics. They had things that were taken by the Smithsonian Institute the year 1907 and 1909. 1909 is when the Phoenix Gazette came out with their article chronicling G.E. Kincaid, who was sent from the Smithsonian Institute to do an archaeological investigation there. And that's when it was discovered that Egyptian artifacts indeed were there. But no news from then on. And people talk about that experience. It's wrapped in myth. Very difficult to understand it unless you're connected with the Hopi Indian tribe and other Indian tribes that would tell you otherwise what that canyon really is. And I think that I pretty much discovered just through an intellectual survey of what it might be, and then a little over a year ago, here at the University of Arizona Library, I decided to pull out one of the topographical maps of the Grand Canyon to see if the stars of Orion would match up with any of the pinnacles, the highest peaks, the altitude peaks of this topographical map. Sure enough, it did take but about 20 minutes to size that star chart, which I created a transparency out of in Photoshop. And I got the alignment. What seems to really fit are the major stars that are not the belt stars that we find find in the Giza Plateau with the 3 Great Pyramids. They happen to be the shoulder stars, Betelgeuse and Bellatrix, and then the kneecap stars, I think you would call that the Hunter constellation of Orion, that is Orion, South, and Rigel. And then Mintaka would be one of the stars of the Belt system. And those were the major ones. They lined up with Isis Temple.
Go back if you are new here and understand the flat drop. Don't skim over it because you just assume that you're living on a ball. Make them prove it to you. It's okay to have a theory, a hypothesis. Have your hypothesis and say, prove your ball. Show me a ball of water with some magnet in the middle of it, keeping water and making it curve into a ball. I don't talk about no zero gravity. I'm saying with gravity in the middle, just like this particular model is, right? We have a core, a gravitational center, right? So show me an experiment with some type of mock device, microcosm of a gravitational center that's making water curve into a ball. And I want you to spin that sucker. Show me water, stay there. I want to see just nice streams of water. Not water going frantic, right? We have oceans. Our oceans are still. We have still lakes. Nice, quiet, serene. Look at Zion National Park, the waterfalls. It ain't going crazy. Is it order or chaos? So I don't want to see chaos with your water. I want to see order. All right? I want to see gravitational, some magnet in the middle, keeping water into a ball. Spin it in a centrifuge hella fast. Remember, we're spinning at 1,000 miles per hour. So spin it at 20 miles per hour. And I want to see order with your water. And then I want you to put that on a wobble. On a tilt, on an axis. And then, remember, we're traveling at 67,000 miles per hour. That's what NASA says. So then I want you to just move that baby. Move it. I want to see it move that thing literally in a circle around your sun. And remember, the sun's moving at damn near 500,000 miles per hour, right? Come on, man. You don't feel nothing? Have you seen that experimentation is all I'm asking. Have they even shown you one live feed from any satellite with your Earth spinning? Can you Google a picture of your Earth and get a real image? Wake up! These pyramids are aligned with the stars, the celestial, not heya heya. You will see this is an artificial grid. And they lined it with the underworld, underneath the firmament. There are waters below and waters above. Above the vibrational layer, they don't fuck with that. They don't mess with that. They can't mess with that. There's a chief of 440 and he keeps you below. He keeps you in the underworld, the celestial. And every pyramid and sacred sites are all lined up with them because that's their energy, that's their source, that's their power, that's their information, that's their high science. They got the drop on you, right? No, because within you is the natural sequence of energy to connect above the firmament. So they have to disconnect you. Remember, 440 hertz musically coming out of your speakers disconnects you from 8 out of 12. By their science, it only connects to 8 out of 12 musical octaves. You have 12 strands of DNA. By default, it's disconnecting your DNA. They don't have to physically do it. They put a frequency to disconnect your DNA so that you don't connect above the firmament so that you're trapped in space and time. This is their world under the firmament. That's the underworld. The pyramids, the energy. Remember, either you believe in all that exists or you don't. But it takes more faith to not believe in it. It takes more faith to believe that order comes out of chaos. Big Bang creates you. That's a lot of faith to believe. If you have a child, look at your child and say you were created by some accidental fart of gas, and it's been expanding ever since. And look, here you are. That means your gods or whatever come out of chaos? So what sparked the chaos? What sparked the chaos? Do you think the Most High ancient head of days, created this beautiful, perfect environment just for you, and he made it off balance and needed extra harmonics and pyramids to help balance it? So some people had to come put some pyramids all over the place to balance it? Or did he create it perfect? And someone hijacked your frequency a long time ago.
They lined up with Isis Temple. Rigel matches up with Sumner Butte. Bellatrix.
This is the Grand Canyon. They're lining the Grand Canyon pyramids up with the celestial, just like in the other world.
Matches up with Isis Temple. Betelgeuse matches up with Tower of Set. And south line up with O'Neill Butte, where the natural arch is. And it's quite possible that reorienting this, I might get other matches, but these are the ones that turned out to be the closest. And recently I've been looking at the Pleiades star system. So that was astounding to me, and it just made sense that all along in my life I couldn't figure out why a river could have carved angles into the rock formations, which seem to appear to be block formations, that when you look at the Isis Temple, for instance, it looks like a stepped pyramid. And if one were to restructure it by moving all the dirt that has fallen from the sides, creating the angles in between the right angles, you could probably form these into the four-sided pyramids that we find down in South America, the Mayan pyramids. No river could have formed some of the features that we see at Isis Temple. At Isis Temple, it appears to be a wall in a circular form. A river can't make those sharp bends and then create, perfect 90-degree angles in there, and then form almost like a circular sweep on both sides. And so it amazes me that in geology, they don't address these issues. I think that most of the river rocks that would otherwise have sharp edges have been rounded off. We only find them where the river is at, but it doesn't appear that we find them above the surface of the water. Once I made the correlation between the star system of Orion to the high altitude peaks of the monuments of the Grand Canyon, in my excitement, I looked for different venues where I could talk to people about this. And we had one convention that reoccurs here in Phoenix, Arizona, and I live in Tucson, about 100 miles away, that I decided to go to because we had some very well-known, world-renowned pyramid scientists, I guess, or enthusiasts.
David Hatcher Childress, known as the real-life Indiana Jones to many of his fans, he has traveled the world several times over seeking adventure and the answers to the mystery.
Traveled the world, Indiana Jones. When you look at Indiana Jones and what he's looking for and where he's looking for, what are you going to come back to? You're going to come back to you. He was looking for you. He was looking for artifacts that have to do with you, that have to do with this, that have to do with this time. They always are trying to get the drop so that they can have the drop on you. And now he's stumbling on some drop and nobody even want to F with him no more because they're like, yo, that's crazy. That truth will cut open all of our research. We can't back that up because we have to start from scratch. Now they're protecting a system the same way certain people can get into certain, doctrines. Even, you know what I'm saying, my Hebrew brothers and sisters can get into their doctrines, right? We know that. And then it's like, well, we've been doing it for decades. So this truth right here cuts open all of our, all the stuff we, said, or our leader said, or something like that. Then you start protecting the doctrine, and you stop fighting for truth, and you die. You die within yourself, you know what I mean? You got to wake back up. You got to revive yourself. Be a lone ranger if you have to. Just get that drop.
Trees of mankind's past, just investigating these subjects for well over 20 years, getting new data for us. So you made reference to the Phoenix Gazette article. Let's talk about that for a moment. It came out in 1909. What was that?
David Childress Hatcher would be one of them. And he had just done a show with George Norrie on Coast to Coast, and they were discussing the history of the Grand Canyon, Smithsonian find of the Egyptian artifacts. And they're looking for ancient civilizations. That's what his forte is. And he just went so far as to thinking that it was an underground civilization, when I'm finding that the whole darn thing is the city, a lost city of some continent that goes unnamed. I sort of have the feeling that perhaps this was the lost continent of Atlantis. So I ping-ponged that back and forth in my mind and talked to various people.
I'm not trying to tie this together, but the documents keep coming back. And we just dropped so much on that, So go back to all the Atlantis drop to catch up to where I'm about to go. And then from there, we'll see what happens. we got a lot more to get to. So he's saying, yeah, this is based on his understanding, not mine, and, based on his research that everyone's ignoring and kicking him out of academia, those circles. They're turning their back on him because he's saying this is Atlantis, the same way that we are coming up with on our own journey, separate from him, that this is Atlantis. So get that fairy tale out your head. Atlantis is Atlas. Atlas is Poseidon's firstborn, who became the first king, or king over everything else. And then he had his brothers, and there were 10 of them, right? So those are the 10 kings. Those are your 10 kings. Those are your dynasties of Egypt. This is the Nephilim seed. This is the seed. That's why they had those heads looking crazy. This was a Nephilim seed, a mixed seed, a seed of demigods. Poseidon seed. Who's Poseidon? What's interesting is if Zeus is Ham, Khem. Just go with me. Remember, this is a hypothesis. I don't know anything. We're just asking questions. Over here, you're safe. It's okay to ask questions. I don't have to prove anything. I'm just asking a question. If you don't want me to ask, then go to another channel where nobody's asking questions. But if you're down for that, and you believe in truth, even your version of it, then you shouldn't be afraid to ask questions, because that's only going to get you sharper. So I'm not afraid to be wrong, because that's only going to get me sharper. Get it? So if I have no fear, there's nothing you can do to me. I don't care if you make a comment saying you crazy. No one cares. I know that already. You're not telling me anything. All right, look. So he's saying that this is Atlantis. And I'm saying that the Most High doesn't destroy order, only chaos. So when Atlantis sunk, Atlantis is a plural. It's the plural form of Atlas. It's many islands or many continents. Those particular continents, and we'll get into that, but that's where their main forces were, right? And that's what sunk. That's what was destroyed. It was Egypt that was destroyed. Egypt was destroyed here. And Egypt is Atlantis. And all this Egyptian stuff is really Atlantis. So when you say, oh, this is Egyptian, well, yeah, that's Atlantis. Egypt is Atlantis. Alright, so you have Egypt here, and that's why you have everything going back. That's why they call it Peru. You could say Heru, right? Heru, Jerusalem. So what came first, the chicken or the egg? That's what we getting to. So when this is established here, why is it being established here? Who's establishing it here? Are there stories that correlate? Are there Greek mythologies that correlate? Remember, they were getting their stuff from the Egyptian records. And that's when we have the correlation, when we understand the Zeus, Poseidon. Poseidon came to this side, made it with the native girl, right? And I believe she was a Canaanite woman. And he made it with a Canaanite woman, and he formed these dynasties. And that's in their mythology. Where Zeus, in that sense, is Ham, and Poseidon, in that sense, is possibly Canaan. And even in their mythology, Poseidon, he shames his father in some type of weird, sexual way or some type of thing. He shames Zeus in some type of way. I believe I have that right. It's a lot of characters in this stuff, so, let me know if I'm, you research it. That's all I'm saying. Look that up. Is Poseidon Canaan? In Greek mythology, does Poseidon shame his father? Is that their beef? Because then there's some type of rift between Poseidon and his father Ham, or Zeus. So I'm saying Poseidon's over here, and we'll get into that. But all that stuff is Atlantis, and we're calling it Egypt. We see pyramids, we call it Egypt, but these pyramids go back before Egypt. Remember, Egypt is not that's their title. So if it's their title, then what is it really? Well, I'm just going to say it's their frequency, because they came here, made it with the natives here, and formed their dynasty. And they subjugated the people that were here a long time ago, and they put a frequency on them. They set up a grid, the same way Hitler did, the same way America's doing with the 440 coming out of your radio, and the pyramid on the back of your dollar is in reference to the frequency you're in, the grid you're in, the illusion you're in, space and time.
About it, and just decided to leave it alone. There's an ancient history that we just don't know, we're not made privy to, and I wanted to talk with him. And there was a moment where he went on stage with a couple of other people to discuss aliens, whether they exist or not. And I know for a fact that humans couldn't have accomplished this feat, not in the Grand Canyon. It's just epic. It's so vast in there that who would want to spend a lifetime waiting for something to be accomplished or achieved? My best estimation is that the monuments of the Grand Canyon are formed by aliens, humans, or both. I would suspect it would be more of an alien earthly intervention. And I would think that this coincided with the Egyptian pyramids in some way or form. So we don't have a timeline. I haven't gone that far into the investigation of the timeline, whether it predates the Egyptian pyramids or I wouldn't think that it would be after.
He's absolutely correct. And we're going to substantiate that with a couple of different sources that have nothing to do with each other. And everything that we built so far actually substantiates exactly what he's just said. That the pyramids here predate the pyramids there. Alright? If the Grand Canyon, all the way from Illinois, all the way from Arizona to Four Corners, all the way to Illinois. And then, of course, they had control of the islands. They had the whole thing on lock. They had the Pillars of Hercules on lock. Remember, go back to that drop. Atlantis, Egypt, insular worlds, all that stuff. The poles being over here. All that stuff correlates. We're bringing it all together right now. This don't have to take 2 years. We're going to bring it together right now. Remember, I treat every drop like it's my final drop. I don't hold nothing from y'all. I don't say I'm going to bring this out next week. We don't know what's going to happen next week, so I'm going to give you everything I got. So what he's saying is that all these old things over here. Remember, look, you can look up right now. Louisiana State University mounds, all these mounds, these mound builders. That's what it is. It's Egypt. It's Atlantis. Israelites didn't rock with these things the way they do. Now, we had our own things, and you'll get into it. Not every pyramid you see is theirs. Not every artifact you see is that. So I'm not trying to say that. I'm saying most. Okay? And so we're getting into this right now. Which one's older? And you will see that even in the Emerald tablets, Tahuti, Thoth, Ra, whatever you want to call them, Eye of Ra, all these names for Tahuti. You can call him Hermes, you can call him Mercury. Alright? But that's what he basically brings out his story of how when Atlantis was sunk. And the Emerald tablets breaks it down. I believe in the first tablet. Where he's actually getting into the ship with the dweller. Who's the dweller? Right? And he's watching the pyramids be sunken by water. So he's watching the flood. And the dweller tells him to go to where the barbarians are. In the land of Ham. And he spells it K-H-E-M. And that's when he goes to Kemet. He wasn't Cometian, but he went to what he says where the barbarians are. And then he says in tablet 1, we'll read it. Don't worry, I'm not just talking. We'll read it. He says in tablet 1, well, when I showed up, they attacked me with spears and sticks. And I raised, his staff or whatever. And he said, I put a vibration on him. Ooh. What vibration could that be? Was it 432? Where they all felt love? Or was it something that subjugated them, that made them distorted? He said he started doing magic and they just fell into a trance. You've been in a trance. That vibration, that harmonic has put you in a trance. Now they're banging it out the radio. I don't think they have control over the harmonics of the pyramids anymore, but they damn sure are blazing 440 and every MP3 of all the music probably you ever heard, unless you heard it in 432 yourself. So what came first, the chicken or the egg? Someone came over here and hijacked your frequency and they built pyramids. Let's go.
And for how long? Would it be 50,000 years, 100? Would it be 500,000 years or a million or more? The question is still left up for the geologists to...
Would it be 5,000 years or a million or more? So he's telling you it could be 5,000 years, it could be a million, right? So we don't go with the million, I don't think, because that's just, I think a lot of stuff was way more recent than that, personally. Because if they're saying a million, just by default, I'm going to flip it. And I'm going to work the other way because I know how they work. That's just wisdom to me. So they say a million, I'm going to say 5,000. Or I'm going to say, I don't know, 10, 15,000 or something. I don't know. But I'm going to go there and then I'll journey from that point.
One day get back to me, but I don't think they will. They just want to stick with the knowledge that they feel comfortable
with
regarding geological formations. But anyway, back to this issue of David Hatcher Childress. I felt that it was necessary to show this information to a little over 1,000 people that were there personally, in person, physically at this convention, on the overhead screens, and the technicians and the convention operators. They just wouldn't let me do it. So I took a chance and walked up to the stage. It was in the dark because they had the overhead projections of what they were talking about up there. So I didn't feel I was being too intrusive, although it was. And I tried to hand off my computer, my laptop, to David and show him what I had, because that's what they were discussing at the time. And I had the proof right there, and he wouldn't take it. And I felt badly because, to me this was a very important find, and I wanted to share it so that I could get an opinion, because as I always work, I try to debunk my own theories. I want to prove that they're either right or wrong. In most cases, I want to prove that they're wrong, because most of what I do is highly dangerous. Meaning, I'm looking at events that are big and had been dangerous.
It's a dangerous game, man. This is dangerous, right?
Eventually, I always find that I'm right, but I don't want to be right. So there I was, being refused. So the following morning, I happened to go into the restaurant there at the hotel where the convention was being held, and there was David. And I figured, okay, well, I have my computer. Let's just sit down there and show it to him. And I explained to him. I sat down with him and showed him what I had. And he looked a little surprised, inquisitive, but he didn't rock back and forth, and there was no jaw-dropping, and his eyes didn't look like they were any bigger than they were. When I stumbled onto this, my jaw dropped and my eyes popped open. So I don't know what was going on. Perhaps it put him in fear. These people have to rewrite their books, redo their DVDs. They have to include this theory because...
And I say it to our community. We have to, go back to the Creator. It's very simple. We don't got to rewrite anything. We just got to return to the Creator. If you preached against the Creator, if you preach anything coming in between you and the Creator, get back to the simplicity of it. Nothing comes between you and the Creator. And everything you're seeing is not Egypt. It's not even Atlantis. It's yours. They came to you. According to their story, you were already here. There were natives here that they mixed in with here. And then when this was blown to bits, they went over there to what we're calling Kemet, right? Now that's the land of Kemet. They went into the land of Kemet. And you'll get into this, but look. Thoth, Tahuti, also checks out to be Tutmosis III, according to my information, right? You look it up. Thoth, Thoth, Tutmosis III. That's when he built what he says when he built the Great Pyramid. Then he built underneath that the halls of Amenti to the underworld. And he put his technology underneath that. And that's the 18th dynasty, right? So now you got it picking up on the land of Kemet in the 18th dynasty. But remember, they subjugated the people around them and called them barbarians. Is there a story of so-called Egypt going to war with other dark people around them? Running them off? The Nubians or anything else? Let's go.
It has not been refuted so far. And I haven't heard from him since. And I tried with my good friend Klaus Dona to help me find people, connect me with people so that I can discuss this matter. And that hasn't happened. So very frustrating. I don't know what to do. In this video, I'm putting out the information so that I do get feedback from somebody. And hopefully it's not too critical or cynical. We got to discover whether or not that Grand Canyon is a synthetic product.
That's your eye of the pyramid. That's 440 hertz. That's the hijack.
And intelligence.
Right.
It's not.
That's that Thoth. That's that Ra. That's that Tahuti.
And it's quite possible that
that's that Hermes.
The Grand Canyon line up with other star systems too. So hard to deny it.
Okay. Again, like I said, I don't know what's next. You see all those tabs open? We're just gonna go there. Alright, so got that. Now let's get into it. Now what I'm about to play for you next. Actually, before I even play this, let's substantiate a couple things. Sorry for the light, but you know how it is. Just meditate. Let's get our substantiation on. Let's substantiate this. Alright, so I'm going to read this fast. And there's going to be places I want to stop, but I'm going to try not to stop so I can get to this next part. Okay? I'm going to leave this link for you. This is called The History of Thoth, the Atlantean, from the Emerald Tablets translation. You can go, get your own Emerald Tablet translations, and we'll get into what that is. And I don't know. I mean, look them up. Apparently they were, found in this type of material that is indestructible, when it's like an emerald type of thing, and there's supposed to be some type of situation. But regardless of that, we're just using information to substantiate, so you'll find the same information even outside of that. Alright. So I'll read this quick. This is from the Emerald Tablet. There we go. This is Tablet 1. I, Thoth, the Atlantean, master of mysteries, keeper of records, mighty king, magician, living from generation to generation, being about to pass into the halls of Amenti, set down for the guidance of those that are to come after. These records are the mighty wisdom of great Atlantis. In the great city of Kior, on the island of Undal, Undal. You're going to get this and you can read it. Undal, remember that. We're going to come back to that because all this stuff connects, and I'm not even trying to connect. But the suffering is happening. The energy is happening. We just happen to be surfing the waves. So get your surfboard out. So he said, in the great city of Kior, on the island of Undal, in a time past, I began its incarnation, not as the little men of the present age did the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from aeon to aeon, eon and eon. So the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but we live from eon to eon. So he's calling he's saying that the other people that are living in so-called what they're calling Atlantis, they live and die. So who are these people that are already there, that are these little puny people he's talking about? He sounds like a deity that's looking down on you, right? This ain't hey, right? So we're talking about a deity that's looking down on you. We're talking about fallen angels. He says, I began this incarnation not as the little men at the present age did, the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die, but rather from eon to eon did they renew their life in the halls of Amenti, where the river of life flows eternally onward. 100 times 10 have I descended the dark way that led into light. So he said I came here 100 times 10. So that's what, 10,000 times? 100 times 10, right? Or 1,000 times. As many times have I descended from the darkness into the light, my strength and power renewed. Pull this up so you can read it with me. We're going to go quick. Because you might see some stuff, Now, here, pay attention. Now, for a time, I descend in the men of Chem, K-H-E-M, Chem, in parentheses. Ham is alchemy in ancient Egypt. So it says, Ham, K-H-E-M, Kemet, Ham is alchemy in ancient Egypt. What's alchemy? Ham, chem, chemistry. That's alchemy, right? So it says it right there. Pull it up. Look at it yourself. K-H-E-M. This is from the Emerald Tablets. This is Thoth. This is Tahuti, right? So he said, now for a time I descend. So he specifically descended to the men of Chem. And he raised them up because in his tablets he says, I knew your fathers, or I knew, something about them was connected to him, even on the other islands. So he was told by the dweller to go raise them up. But who really has order? Above the firmament, right? So this is really order from above. And the dweller is really following orders from above. So he was really ordered to raise them up, right? Now it matches up with our, Torah. Now we can understand and say, okay, Most High said, I raised these nations up against you. I raised Egypt up. I raised them all up. Even if they didn't know me. But in a time yet unborn will I rise again. Alright, so let's He's going to come back. Whoever, you know, he's saying, I'm coming back too. They're all coming back. It's on a cracker. But in a time yet unborn will I rise again, mighty and potent, requiring an account of those left behind me. So even he's going to want account. Now, did that time come yet? Is it all coming now? This is what we're trying to suffer, right? He says, requiring an account of those left behind. So y'all going to have to account for the information I left you in Egypt, right? In Kemet. Then beware, old man of Kim. So all these Kemet teachers and all that, there's accountability even in this system. Then beware, old man of Kim, Khem. If ye have falsely betrayed my teaching, for I shall cast ye down from your high estate into the darkness of the caves. Into the darkness of the caves. So he's saying, I'm going to tear you apart. Hey, it's going to tear Israel apart. It's going to tear the world apart. Based on his order, I'm going to personally tear y'all apart for betraying my teachings. So even there's a way to betray that teaching, right? So there's order above, there's order even in the underworld. And if you betray that order, if you betray those teachings, you're held accountable to the underworld. Check it. Then beware, O men of Kim. If ye have falsely betrayed my teachings, for I shall cast ye down from your high estate into the darkness of the caves from which ye came. Where are they now? Where are they now? Are they not cast down from the high estate into the darkness of the caves from whence they came? Let's go. Betray not my secrets to the men of the north or the men of the south, lest my curse fall upon you. Who's the men of the north and south? Remember and heed my words, for surely will I rise again and require of thee that which ye guard. So they're guarding something. The high sciences, right? The mystery school. Even from beyond time and beyond death will I return, rewarding or punishing, and as you have requited your trust. It says, great were my people in the ancient days, great beyond the conception of the little people now around me, you little peons, you little minuscule little, yeah. This is what he's saying. You know what I mean? This is how he feel about y'all. He's like, y'all God don't like y'all. Y'all God think this is what the God of Kemet, okay, the God of Egypt, this is what he's saying in the Emerald Tablets, tablet number 1. Great were my people in ancient days. He's talking about his people. He ain't talking about Cometians. Remember, they came and then he called them barbarians and they attacked them with spears and he put a vibration on them. So you're not this. If you're rocking Kemet, you're rocking something that's not even you. That's not even indigenous. This is not indigenous. Thoth is not indigenous. These are fallen angels. And they hijack the indigenous people. Now we wake up saying, ooh, shiny. They look like me. Look at the big monument. They got to do it outwardly. You do it inwardly. That's the game. Now you want to be outward like them and be materialistic. And so they got you. Great were my people in ancient days, great beyond the conception of the little people now around me, knowing the wisdom of old, seeking far within the heart of infinity knowledge that belonged to earth's young. Everybody wants knowledge. Everybody wants the celestial knowledge. No one wants to connect inward to Heya above the firmament. They don't want to go beyond. They just want to hit that white wall. You'll see what I'm talking about. Again, this is going to be like a 4 or 5 part. Matter of fact, in about 5 minutes, that's it. Going to part 2. Listen, wise were we with the wisdom of the children of light. Who's the children of light? Alright, this ain't talking about the children of Israel. Who's the children of the light? Who's the morning star? Who's the illuminated? Huh? Wise were we with the wisdom of the children of light, who dwelt among us. Strong were we with the power drawn from the eternal fire. And of all these, greatest among the children of men was my father, Thoth, which turns out to be Thoth Moses when you research it. Put this in Google and see the first thing that pops up. Just play the game. All right, now we're able to put a timeline on it, right? Because if this is, in our journey as we suffer, if this is the Moses, then that's, his father, right? But then go to the Greek mythology. Who would that be? All right, let's go. Keeper of the great temple, link between the children of light who dwell within the temple and the races of men who inhabited the 10 islands. Oh. Are you hearing this? This is Thoth, Ra, Tahuti, right? Ra. And of all these, greatest among the children of men was my father, Thoth Moses, keeper of the great temple, link between children of light who dwelt within the temple and the races of men who inhabited the 10 islands. So there's people that inhabit it, and there's people that dwell in the temples. Whoever dwells in the temples are these fallen angel seeds. That's your hierarchy. That's who's keeping you in 440. That's your ruling class. That's why the people of Egypt had their instruments tuned to 432. They were the indigenous ones. That is our melanated family. If you're banging Kemet, though, you're banging Poseidon. You're banging something that wasn't you, that came and called you a barbarian. You attacked it with spears, and they put a vibration on you, and they've had a vibration on you ever since. Now look how the spirit of stupor has us. We wake up, the first shiny black thing we see and say it's us. And we know we're not related to that in our spirit, but the high sciences are so crucial, right? But they keep you away from the firmament. They keep you dwelling in the celestial, spinning around on a ball. So the 10 islands of Atlantis, those were the 10 kings were over that. That's Poseidon's kids. So really, I guess he's saying his dad is Poseidon. You look it up. Is he saying that? Alright. And it goes on. There's a lot more to it. I'll leave the link. Man, I want to... You know what? I kind of got to... Let me see if I can just get some other part. Because there's so much to drop, man. But I know it's going to be a lot. I just got to take my time. I got to be patient, right? But anyway, this is long. But I'll start from here. Now, Atlantis is sinking now, okay? So we're skipped ahead in tablet 1 still. Atlantis is sinking. And he said, his master, the dweller, called, saying, gather ye together my people, take them by the arts ye have learned, by the magic that you have learned, far across the water. So now they're leaving Atlantis or America. Remember, Peru was the center of Atlantis. Mexico, America is Atlantis. It was in the middle, or these were the islands, but the other ones were sunk around it. So the order was still being kept in places, and the Most High didn't destroy those places. And you come from those places. You were the natives that were already here. Now they have been here. They put the pyramids. The flood is happening. Now we're in the flood, the days of Peleg. I'm sure it connects. All right. Genesis 10. And he's saying that his master is telling him to gather his people. Not yo black ass, not the indigenous ones, but his fallen angel seed with the magic that they know. Gather I then my people and entered the great ship of the master. Upward we rose, so they're in a spaceship. Upward they rise into the morning. Dark beneath us lay the temple. Suddenly over it rose the waters. Vanished from earth until the time appointed was the great temple. So it's going to come back. So it's vanished for a time. But he's watching it. He's watching it being flooded. And where does he go after America was flooded? After Atlantis was flooded? Right? After the islands in the western hemisphere that they had the 10 kings over and the dynasty of Egypt here, they went to our indigenous family in Kemet, in the land of Ham. Right? He says, suddenly over it rose the waters, vanished from earth until the time appointed was the great temple. Fast we fled towards the sun of the morning, until beneath us lay land of the children of Ham. 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 Kemet. Children of Kemet. You see? So if you are indigenous, my family on that side of the water, so to speak, this is all one earth, so it's not really any division. I'm just breaking it down the way they see it abstractly, but we know it's one earth that has chakras, energy centers, right? One body. So if you're indigenous, everybody has melanated family that's indigenous to that part of the body. Don't bang on your family that's indigenous here. Somebody got to be here. And if you indigenous over there, somebody got to hold it down over there. We got gold here, you got gold there. You understand what I'm saying? We spread out, and we know there's more land, right? So what are we fighting about? So he's watching it being flooded on the western hemisphere. He goes now to the eastern, and he sets up in Africa. Quote, quote. Now we have the dynasties picking up in the 18th dynasties there. Watch what he says. Fast we fled toward the sun of the morning, until beneath us lay the land of the children of Ham. Raging, they came with cudgels and spears. So raging, they came at us with cudgels and spears, whatever that is. Spears, we know what that is. Lifted in anger, seeking to slay and utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis. Can you please pause this and read it yourself, or pull the link up so you know I'm not making this up? I don't know if you can see. All right, we're journeying. Don't be mad at truth. Let's go. You can fight truth all you want. It's going to whoop your ass because the truth has you surrounded. The truth has your corner surrounded. Fast we fled toward the sun in the morning, until beneath us lay the children of Ham. Raging they came with cudgels and spears, lifting in anger, seeking to slay and utterly destroy the sons of Atlantis. They knew these people were foreigners. That's the peculiar people coming into that land. Now we can match that up. Then spoke I to them. Oh, excuse me. He says, then raised I my staff and directed a ray of vibration, striking them still in their tracks as fragments of stone of a mountain. He stopped them in their tracks with a vibration, damn near turning them into stone. Huh? Aren't you idle? Don't you feel like stone, like you can't move? You're talking about going to your land and you just can't move your feet because you're just stuck in stone, right? Then I raised my staff. This is Thoth, Tahuti, Hermes, Mercury, Poseidon's son. Then spoke I to them, and he said, then I raised my staff and directed a ray of vibration, striking them in their tracks as fragments of stone of the mountain. Then I spoke to them in words calm and peaceful, telling them of the might of Atlantis. They didn't even know. They didn't even know. He had to tell them about Atlantis. And then start building pyramids. Telling them, then I spoke with calm and peaceful words, telling them about the might of Atlantis, saying we were children of the sun and its messengers. So they're the children of the sun. Now you wake up and your black ass is saying I'm a child of the sun. Why? Because I come from Africa. When? You see what I'm saying? They got us looking dumb, man. They clowning, dude. They're clowning. They're watching you bang Kemet and they rolling their ass off. Because they know you don't come from fallen angel seed, right? You're indigenous. They knew the difference. They knew the difference. You know what I'm saying? Last part is this, and we're going to part 2. Then I spoke to them in the words calm and peaceful, telling them of the might of Atlantis, saying we were children of the sun and its messengers. Cowed I them by my dismay of magic science, until my feet they groveled. When I released them, so he had them captive in the vibration. Long dwelt we in the land of Ham, long and yet long again, until obeying the commands of the master, who while sleeping yet lives eternally. I sent from me the sons of Atlantis, sent them in many directions, that from the womb of time wisdom might rise again in their children. Long time dwelt I in the land of Ham, doing great works by the wisdom within me. Upward grew into light of knowledge the children of Ham. So now the children, the inhabitants, which were now of course being mixed in the fallen angel seed, as well, and some weren't, you know what I'm saying? But the children are now being raised in the light of knowledge, and the children of Kim watered by the rains of my wisdom. Blasted I then a path to Amenti, so he built the underworld underneath the pyramid, that I might retain my powers, living from age to age, a son of Atlantis, keeping the wisdom, preserved the records. Great grew the sons of Kim, conquered the people around them, growing slowly upward in soul force. And then he's going to go on about how he built the chambers and how he put technology underneath that. So now you see the people growing in soul force and subjugating the people around them. They taught them how to do that with vibration. The same vibration he put on them, the same vibration they got on you right now. And that's why the pyramid's on the back of your dollar. Stay tuned to part 2. We are